clicker on the two. Good evening and welcome to the November 9th, 2017 Conservation Commission meeting. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 despite the fact that the clock says 8:02. That will play tricks on me for the rest of the evening, I'm sure. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sue, could you do roll call for us, please? Present.
Here.
Jeff Goldnoff.
Present.
Ann Fortune.
Present.
Marion Hannigan.
Present.
Casey Finch.
Present.
And Andrea Fry, Julia Sinclair, and Roseanne Quox have all reached out and commented that they will not be able to attend tonight, so they are all excused. And yeah, that means, so Mary Ann, we're going to nominate you to be, or appoint you, sorry, I should use the right word.
That's right.
Oh, that's right, Mary Ann. So Ann, you're our alternate.
No,
you're
all real.
We're all real.
Score! Perfect. Excellent.
That's right, because you were you an alternate? No, you never were. Right?
Never were.
No, we're still missing one. You know, we're still missing an
We're still missing an alternate, yeah.
I don't think they're advertising it.
Yeah, I don't think
No, they're not.
that's posted.
And I had a very strange date on Andrea's. Because I had her date of
Uh-oh, here we
completion
go.
March 2017.
I thought she did.
I thought she did.
Oh, okay.
Thought she did
Sure
too.
she did.
Is that a two?
I'm almost positive she did.
I would have said 3, but
I can tell you right now.
Okay.
She's good till March 2020.
Okay.
Andrea Sellers.
But we need an alternate?
I believe we do.
Okay.
We only have one listed on our members list.
Okay.
And it's Julia.
That's Julia, yeah.
yeah.
Actually, this is kind of an old list. Because it doesn't have Roseanne on it.
Oh, we had an
I
update.
have them.
Yeah. I know. Oh,
Pass it down.
Okay, so we do
well,
have.
this was even
Did
older.
I email you all a copy of this or did?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I didn't print it.
That's okay. Okay, so anyway, moving on. Public comments. We don't have any public here this evening, so no public comments. Approval of the minutes from the October 12th, 2017 meeting. Sue sent those out. Has everyone had a chance to review them? And does anyone have any comments, corrections, suggestions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second the motion.
You're
No,
entertaining?
I'm entertaining the motion.
Oh, you're entertaining.
Patrick is.
That's right,
Yes.
you're entertaining. I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Excellent. I will second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, 2 abstentions. Yep.
Pass with 3. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, we carry.
Squeaked by.
Yes. Okay, that takes care of that. Treasurer's report, we don't have one as far as I can tell because we don't have any paperwork here, which is how it usually is. And Andrea is excused tonight. So I'll make a notation of no report. Committee and subcommittee reports. Casey, anything from the town council?
Town council, essentially just budget. We met Saturday, October 28th, for a workshop session where we kind of went through the budget. Still running very lean. We trimmed a little bit of the fat where we could. And during that discussion, we were able to essentially kind of identify $250,000 that we could kind of move around to capital reserve funds. So what we wound up doing is we placed 150 towards roads and 100 towards facilities, with the assumption being that the fire department, the roof over by DPW fire department is going to need to be replaced soon. So that's where those extra funds, not extra funds, but that's kind of where they went. And I did mention too, just we had some initial discussions about kind of the waterfronts. I mentioned that down the road in future budget years, we might want to consider starting to put aside a little bit of money for any work that might need to be done there with the erosion and whatnot. Our last meeting was Wednesday, November 1st, and that just really entailed approving the budget.
Great, thank you. Roseanne, our planning board rep, is not here this evening. We did get in the mail notice of the upcoming planning board meeting agenda, and I will pass that around. I didn't see anything that looked of particular interest to the Conservation Commission, I would say, but that meeting is coming along. And do we have anything under other?
I do.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
Monday of this week, the Energy and Environment Subcommittee met here at Town Hall for our first meeting. It went well. We basically kind of introduced a lot of us, there are members at large, so they're just members of the community on the committee. So, we kind of introduced ourselves, kind of talked about who knows what, basically, our kind of strong points. Kind of came up with few ideas. We bounced around back and forth. We elected chair, vice chair, things like that. We came up with a few ideas of, some initial steps, kind of looking at, kind of energy usage by the town, and also kind of how we're treating, some level of looking at, the waste disposal in town, things like that. If I should get too into things, I don't want to get people excited about ideas, because they're, first time we talked about them, Tony Weinstein, who kind of, it was kind of her idea, I guess, originally. She's going to bring a few ideas to the town administrator to kind of see if we want to even pursue them at this point. So it's kind of where we're at now. Like I said, I don't know if I should get, explain it all at this moment, but kind of the ideas where we did speak about solar and composting and energy type upgrades in town facilities. It's kind of the areas we're currently looking at. So that's how that went.
And the meetings are monthly?
The meetings are going to be monthly. That meeting happened to be on a Monday night because it was what worked for everyone. Our next meeting is the second, I believe. I might have this wrong. The first or second Monday of December. Sorry, Tuesday. I apologize. Tuesday. Yes, I do have minutes from that meeting too, that Tony took and sent out, which I can forward on to the members of the commission, if that would be of interest. They're public minutes. They'll probably be
Yeah, I was
posted
going
on
to say
the
they're
town.
public minutes, I assume. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
So that's the committee that you were trying to recruit some people?
Or
A full-time member, because you're the
full-time
alternate,
member.
right?
I'm kind of an alternate, but I don't think I'm seen as an alternate on the committee.
Doesn't
because
sound
because
good.
unless there's somebody else that would like to. Julia was the one that was thinking of it, and she's not here this month, but.
That's great, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting. It was a very interesting meeting. I think the composting idea is a good idea. One of the I supported it. I hope the commission would too. I mean, part of the thing with it is that not only is it better for the environment, but it actually might be a good move for the town. I mean, what you compost is generally a lot of the weight in your trash. So if you can remove a lot of weight out of the garbage, I believe the town pays on weight. So you could actually possibly save the town money in the end, maybe. But composting isn't always free if you use a service. So there's yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So you're talking at the consumer level, not businesses,
At the resident level.
at the resident level?
Yes. Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
some
there's-
communities have done more at the the restaurants. and
Yeah, some of
things
the
like
restaurants
that.
in town do compost already with, like
They have a
Mr.
service
Yeah,
or
Mr.
something.
Flock, the service, yeah. So that's kind of what we're looking at, so kind of the idea is like, let's see if the town's interested, and then if they are, like, you know, let's, approach a company that does this
I see.
and see what they think about, you know, because like you said, some towns have actually contracted with companies to work on townwide composting. So it's kind of one of the topics we talked about for a while. Know a lot more about it next month. It was a very kind of informal, bounce around a bunch of ideas. Let's see if any of these kind of stick, if they're brought to the administrator level, and move forward from there.
Great, thank you.
Sure. Hopefully after our next meeting, I'll have a more thorough report. But like I said, it was very loose ideas at this point.
Sure. Next item on the agenda is the chairman's report. Not a whole lot to report there, but we do have some. So we received a revised wetland permit application for the new road drainage improvements. So a copy was sent to the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, the Wetlands Bureau, and the Conservation Commission received its own copy. It's a small book, to put it politely. I have not gone through this to see what is in here. I just picked it up the other day. But anyone who is interested is welcome to glance through it. And then related to that, well, and I should say, so this is the, essentially the plan is to revise some of the drainage in the new road area, basically cut a trench through the town-owned property and drain stormwater into the Lamprey River rather than having it feed along New Road and then go into Moonlight Brook and go through the lower part of town there where we have had flooding issues in the past. So it's a divert stormwater into the Lamprey River a little sooner and hopefully minimize flooding in the bowl area of 108. Related to that, we were copied on letters from the Lamprey River Advisory Committee to folks at the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services related to this application. Because the work is within a quarter of a mile of the Lamprey River, the Lamprey River Advisory Committee is supposed to comment or has the opportunity to comment on all projects that are happening within a quarter mile of the river. And so they reviewed the revised plans and have submitted letters to Mr. Ridgely Mock at the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, Mr. David Price at DES, and another one to Mr. Mock related to work at the elementary school. And I have not read that one yet. I'll have to take a look at that one.
I assume that's with the new building that's going on there and drainage to Moonlight Brook as well.
Yes. Yeah, and this is within a quarter mile of the Piscassic River.
They're proposing, are they, for the school renovations over there, they're not proposing direct wetland impact, are they?
Let's see.
And that's probably why we don't see a permit application.
Right,
for the
yeah, it's an
town.
alteration of terrain permit.
I mean, the property might just barely abut in that corner there where Moonlight Brook is, maybe, I'm trying to think.
Exactly.
It's like there's like an old ice pond or something there,
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
which is at the near the beginning, I think. Ish.
Well, the stream passes through that. I think that ice pond was Greater
Actually, no,
Barrington,
it goes
actually.
back towards your,
Goes to
yeah.
my house.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
Oh, back by your house,
Moonlight Brook
okay.
does,
That's
yeah.
further
That's right,
upstream.
yeah.
How
Well,
did
that-
elementary school impact that area?
It's right behind it.
Really close, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
The trail behind, the trail system right behind the elementary school crosses it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's like right between the ball fields by the rec center, I guess, and the elementary school, but closer to the elementary school.
Okay.
I mean, it does go right next to the ball fields too, but it comes very close. You know the big ledge behind the elementary school?
Yes.
And then it gets flat and kind of low behind the playground?
Mm-hmm.
Right back there is where Moonlight Brook is.
Yeah. And then that drains
I
back.
just didn't
yeah.
think that was near Marion's house, that's why I was.
Oh.
This way,
it's-
my house would be up here,
Yeah.
Yeah,
school would be here.
But the Piscassic is also right there,
yeah.
being part of the designated river system.
Yep.
So is there, because I know we've reviewed we reviewed an application for the new road drainage project.
Mhm.
Do they highlight the change that they made in any way? Do they say this is what we did different this time? Or how we modified it, or is it a complete redo?
So, per our prior discussions, the revised design locates the proposed gravel wetland in Uplands to Center Street and eliminates a 2,185 square foot of forested wetland impacts adjacent to the New Hampshire Fish and Game property on Youngs Lane. 60 linear feet of tidal embankment will be impacted in order to construct a new drainage outfall discharging to the Lamprey River. A revised alteration of terrain permit application is also submitted under a separate cover. Blah, 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 blah.
So that impact of the forested wetland was that little wetland that's like right on the side of the road there. On the side that we went and walked that at one point for the wastewater treatment facility upgrade. So they must, because they had proposed some alterations in there last time. Where is Center Street?
That's what I was just thinking. Which one is Center?
Is it one of the little side streets right by DPW? Is there a little? Must be on. Can I see that application?
Google it.
I'm looking at the map right now on Google, I'm trying to figure out where it is.
Yeah.
Overview.
Sounds familiar.
Oh, it goes into the mobile home park.
Oh, okay. So it comes off a new road opposite the entrance to the DPW?
Yeah,
and-
just before
and
it.
goes in that direction. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
It's right on this map. Center Street.
Makes it easy.
That's right.
So if anyone would like to look at the revised plan, they're welcome to do so, or read the letters, they're welcome to do so. What was that? Sure. But in the other room, I'm gonna continue to move on.
It's fine by me. Do we have to, we have the opportunity to comment, but we don't have to, right? Because it's not expedited?
Correct. Yep.
You can feel free to move on now. I'm just gonna look at it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm curious. I see the changes, but I don't know what that means, really.
Well, yeah, so what are the changes?
Well, I see right on the side of New Road, it looks like they've got a couple of proposed, I'm probably gonna name these wrong and say that they're like a retention basin or something,
Okay.
in like some sort of water quality structure before it outlets into it. And I don't know if the water comes out of it or if it's supposed to simply stay in there and evaporate. You know what I mean? It looks like it's about 6 feet deep
Oh, wow, that's deep.
and looks like there's two two basins to it with some sort of an overflow. Yeah. Secondary inlet, I don't see. It might be an infiltration type, like a rain garden type situation. That's what I'm thinking by looking at it, but I could be wrong. So I said, I don't know if it's a retention
Right,
pond or
right.
a rain garden type thing.
Well, isn't there currently a flow that goes under Center Street?
Yep, it's
And then
right by
that's-
that.
And then that's what goes behind the houses that are along New Road there, and then turns right before 108, goes under New Road.
Yeah,
towards Moonlight Brook.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. It looks like there's an under drain system to be built. There's two ponds, and looks like the one that's closer to Center Street, where there's a catch basin that drains under Center Street to the wetland that you're referring to, that would then
Yeah.
cross under New Road and eventually go to Moonlight Brook. Looks like there's an under drain system inside that pond, I'll call it, which feeds into the existing catch basin. So it seems like water might slowly seep down into the ground, get caught in the under drain, and then end up in the catch basin. So maybe it's going to retain a bunch of water and slowly release it through under drains. Instead of, because the last proposal had they were going to take that wetland and open it up and make a similar two-stage system with a check dam or something they had in there. And then, I know we had, because we definitely had some concerns about the outfall from that going down the steep embankment behind TPW, but it sounded like they were still gonna do that, right? But maybe it'll be a lot less water.
And maybe it'll spread more.
Yeah, because right here it goes two directions. Right at Young Lane, it goes two ways. It goes towards that retention basin and then also over towards the river.
Yeah, 'cause I would have said previously it was all going towards the river.
Right. Just need a. That's interesting. The structure here at the intersection has two outlets, and they're both the same elevation. So maybe as it fills, it just kind of divides the water,
Splits, yeah.
I guess. That's what it seems like, because it's got an invert coming in at 43.05. It's got two inverts going out at 43.05. The one going towards the retention basins is smaller than the one going towards the river, I think.
And is there like an
This
overflow for
invert,
that?
yeah. That's 42, so it's.
The retention one? Is there a place where it'll divert it to this one?
Well, so the
So
water
this one
would be.
filled first, and then it would go this way?
Well, I think the water's flowing
Well,
this
it's
way.
going that way.
Right.
So the water will hit this. This is just a basin.
And isn't it being
manhole.
diverted
It's going
in-
both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it looks
So,
like.
what
'Cause-
decides, how does it, it just goes both ways, and then if this one, because it's smaller, will it
Right.
fill up? Because it's like a retention? Or will it always
So-
just empty out on its own?
Oh, the outlet here is 42.6 feet, and the outlet going in here is 43.05. So presumably, if the water gets up to 43.05 in here or higher,
Yeah.
and doesn't go over the check dam between the two basins, it would
Then
It
everything
would
goes that
it
way.
would keep water from flowing this way and force more water to go that
Yeah,
way.
that's,
Huh. It's interesting.
It's clever.
It is. Yeah, and then instead of going through that wetland, they just completely bypass it with new structures down through the wastewater treatment facility.
how long is this whole thing?
That's very long. It's
It is.
800, 900 feet. Because it should be 0. Yeah, it's 900 feet, give or take. 850 feet, maybe. And then instead of having a direct outlet, it looks like they have perforated pipe
Along the bank.
along the bank, along a restabilized bank. Nice. That was definitely, it seems like
Yeah.
addressing one of our concerns of
Yeah.
scouring the,
That should be an improvement.
Who are the engineers?
it's Underwood? It's interesting that they don't tie into that whole big swale they just built for the wastewater treatment. Probably overburden that design, I guess. Cool. I like it.
Yeah, seems to make sense.
Saw it, thank you.
Okay, so under old new business, Shopmire Park.
I have no news. Well, I shouldn't say that. We have been still looking into docking permitting. Process is still ongoing. And that's the only news so far. As I think at the last meeting, I reported that we're kind of on hold till spring for
Mhm.
construction.
Okay, thank you. Piscassic River Loisel property kiosk. I know Julia sent out the information we provided feedback to Ellen. Ellen had that information updated. I think that got sent out to everyone. If I remember correctly,
I
no?
have not seen it.
I
Have
have
you?
not seen the update.
Maybe that's the one that just got sent. Hold on one second and let me see.
It's not officially open.
Yeah, so there were two proofs that Ellen sent to me yesterday, and then I sent out right before this meeting.
I can't access the PDFs. I have the email, but the PDFs don't appear to be attached.
Yeah, I did see that. I just didn't see any PDFs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
The text is at the bottom of the PDFs right now.
I'll try to forward those from at home.
Did it also include the estimate billing? That was supposed to be
Quick check.
because you would want to approve the funding.
Yeah. It would be nice to have. It's funny when I did my,
No,
Right.
it's just the two proofs.
I'll bring it up after. All in due time, right?
Dang. Okay.
Next month. We'll get it done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we do have to wait.
Or you could, maybe if Julie could send it out, if you replied to her and asked her to just send it out to all of us, is that possible? That we could at least see it?
Yeah, but, I don't think we can make a decision,
No,
unfortunately,
no.
which would be nice to do, though. Okay, so I think it's gonna have to delay till next month. Next one is the Dearborn Property Survey. So I updated the request for quote letter. Thank you, Jeff. You gave me some good feedback on that. And then I sent it out to 3 surveying firms yesterday. And so I asked that we get replies back for the request for quote prior to our next meeting. I think I said November 28th. So that should give us time to receive them back, distribute them, and be able to talk about them at our next meeting. So a little bit of progress there. But no resolution yet. Next item is the Heron Point Sanctuary. So two things there, and they're related. So we received a letter dated October 31st from Dale Jones, who lives at, close to the sanctuary and has been pushing to try and see if we can find a resolution to getting the park open. His letter is requesting a hearing with the town council and related to the Heron Point Wildlife Sanctuary gate being closed, and he would like the Heron Point Estate Board and the Conservation Commission to participate as well. I've been in communication with the town administrator, Steve Fournier. He says it's fine for us to reach out to the Heron Point Estates Board and see if we can, get a meeting going and get things going there. So I will reach out to the board and, bring Dale in on that, and hopefully we can get a meeting scheduled and see if we can figure out something to resolve this issue. So no real progress other than trying to lay groundwork to get things to happen.
Well, I appreciate Dale doing that to try and facilitate the groups coming together. I think that's,
Yes.
I just want to recognize, I appreciate what he's trying to do there.
I agree.
I agree as well.
I agree. 'Cause it's a beautiful park, and as a community, we need to try to figure out a way to make it publicly accessible that's agreeable for everyone. Classic case of trying to figure out how to get to yes. See what we can do there. Next item on the agenda is easement monitoring. So the Piscassic River Loisel property was monitored on October 21st, if
That's
I
correct.
remember correctly.
Yep.
Do you want to speak to that, Jeff?
Sure. Julia Sinclair and my son Oscar and I walked the property on October 21st. Things looked pretty good out there. Didn't see anything really out of the ordinary. There was one abutter who we have sent letters to in the past that had a little bit of debris over the stone wall again. Other than that, all things looked good. It's funny when I have the report is complete and ready to go in. One question I had was, should I leave myself as the contact, or should I change you to the contact? Does it matter?
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Okay, that's fine by me, because if they have a question, then they'll call me and I can answer, because I actually work,
Yeah.
so.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so I updated the report to kind of reflect the route that we took, because it was a little bit different
Mhm.
than last time. Really, there was nothing out of the ordinary or different. One thing I thought that was funny is that when I was, last year, when I wrote the report, I had mentioned, once again, I did mention that the work that's been done over the year by the Serve with Liberty program. And, we did walk past a bunch of our piles and still looking good and dead, or browner than they were. But I can't, at the end of what I'd written last year was that we had installed a very nice new kiosk and we were working on the sign. And I actually monitored the property on October 26th last year, so it was almost exactly 1 year ago. And so this year I said, the kiosk, we're still working on signage, hopefully it'll be installed over the winter. So, I will sign this, and you want me to give it to you to submit, or should I submit it to whoever? I can sign it, scan it, and email it to you, or
Yeah, if you would, that would be
Yep.
good.
get that to you.
Because we submit them all electronically to
Yeah.
LCHIP and DES and whoever else.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'll do that.
Excellent.
Now, when you walk that property, you're walking, I know the one side that faces out towards 152 is sort of lined mostly by a stone wall. Is that right? Is it?
The side where, so I'll briefly tell you guys the route that we took, and it's kind of the typical route this year. I went the same direction we always go. Last year I went backwards. Things look a little different going the opposite way sometimes. So, notice different stuff. And so we just park at the parking spot, and then if you're facing the field, you take a right and walk behind the Loisel property, and follow that line out to a stone concrete property marker out in the woods. We look towards 152, but we rarely walk from that point. It's kind of like scrubby floodplain, straight line, nothing really there. I have not walked that little piece, but it doesn't abut a yard or anything, so I assume not much is happening there. And then we usually turn and walk. Like last year, I was by myself, so I just walked basically in the edge of the river because the water was low. This year, we didn't do that. We cut up and followed the edge of the field, kind of. Picked up on the trail, dropped down across the woods and across the little stream that comes in from the field to the property corner down by the river. And then, so that whole property boundary is the river. Then from the river there, going to the northwest or to the northwest, yeah. That property boundary is like just old barbed wire fence and like a cable strung through some fence posts. And it hits a stone wall, and then it basically follows stone walls almost the entire rest of the
That's what
way.
I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, almost.
Until you get back to the field, basically.
Yeah, you take you go across that little part along the wetland. I did note, like, I like to walk that way. Sometimes we don't walk. I've been with other folks who haven't walked it, but below the big ledge by Audubon, you go through a wetland to an upland, and then there's like a neat stone wall. So it's almost like a bridge through a wetland, but it's getting pretty thick. Next time somebody might want to just like clip a couple of branches, just so that we can. The stone wall is getting very overgrown and stuff in there. I mean, I don't mean like clear it, just like a couple of clips to make it passable. And then when you get almost to the field, like just inside the woods, it turns towards 152. And then, well before 152, it turns back towards the parking lot. And there's no, it follows the birdhouses, basically back to the parking lot. And one thing I didn't do that we usually do is walk along the birdhouses and clean them. I completely forgot to do that. So if anyone is interested in cleaning out the birdhouses, I know that they were used this year. So
Who placed them?
It was a Boy Scout.
The Boy Scouts?
Yeah. So we put the posts in to mark the property boundary. And then the local Boy Scouts at some point said, hey, we're doing a bluebird. I think it was bluebird.
it was just before I joined the commission. I think so. I
Yeah.
don't think I was there when they did it. So.
I think it was bluebirds, but I'm not certain about that. So they were building a bunch of boxes, a bunch of bird houses, and we're looking for somewhere to put them up. And the habitat, the field habitat, was right. And so they said, hey, we got these posts out here. Can we put these birdhouses up on the posts? And we said, sure, absolutely, yeah.
I think we typically see swallows nesting.
Is it?
So I've seen on them in the past. So.
I've seen an occasional mouse as well.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's a fun climb, right? Climb into its high rise.
Yeah. Got a long way to go.
So I don't know if we want to send a letter again. It wasn't a lot of stuff. It's still the same person.
And it's
It's
yard
this-
waste stuff?
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it's
leaves
not a
and-
ton, but it's like one person on the entire property habitually does it, and they have land. They have a very large yard, very large. It's not like they don't have space
What is it?
2 feet over on the other side. It's just like if you were to like clean out your flower garden
Oh,
or
sounds-
trim your hedges in front of your house. It's like a pile of that stuff. And the only reason I've ever really had an issue with it is that you don't want everyone to do it. Actually, I have several issues, I guess, but you don't want everyone that shares a boundary to do it. And if they happen to take a large tree down, are they going to think they can do the same thing with that? And are they going to put seeds and plant materials from invasive species in there that we're going to end up just managing down the road? So
Right.
it's kind of I don't mind taking the letter that we've sent before. When I was writing this up, I have a Piscassic folder, and I've got digital copies of the old letters that we sent, so I could just modify them if folks see think we should.
I think
think
that's
we should.
appropriate, yeah.
I think
that's appropriate.
too.
But obviously, they haven't paid attention to past letters.
We can ask to meet them out there and talk to them, which I don't think we've done. I don't mind going out and talking to them.
Yeah.
I know we did approach them. They had a tree that they wanted to take down at one point. There was a hazard tree in their yard, on the town side of the stone wall, and they asked us if they could, if we offered to help them remove the tree, and I don't think we ever heard back, but I'm 99% certain that hazard tree is gone, which is fine. It was a hazard tree for sure. And it was dead, completely dead and ready to fall. So I don't know if we'll hear it back, but I think it's worth sending. So
I do too.
it could be a different owner now too, for all I know.
Mm.
So,
There
Oh.
might be a few more trees down in there now too after the storm.
I know the trail's clean.
The trail is clear?
Yes.
You've been there
Oh, good.
since the storm?
Yeah, my wife has. Yeah, she goes there frequently. So
That's good.
Cool, thanks, Jeff.
sure.
And then the other property that we've done an easement monitoring on was the Silverman Schneer property. That was on October 28th. That was, Ann and I went out and did that property. We parked at the end of Neal Mill Road, and then walked back down to the low point on Neal Mill Road, and then in along the stone wall there, kind of went close to the Piscassic River. The water was pretty high. We got close enough where we could see that, there was clearly no building, no easement violations going on. So then we went kind of back away from the river until we got to a point where we could kind of cleanly traverse the property, kind of paralleling the Piscassic River, and we did that. Got over to Old Lee Road, crossed the bridge, checked on the property on the other side of the Piscassic River, went around that, came back, crossed over the bridge again, and then went out on the other side of Old Lee Road and the property there, and came back around. Overall, no significant change in the property there. The biggest change that we saw was, so the house is essentially completely removed except for the chimney. The old brick chimney is still there. They have done, the current owners have hired loggers, or someone has logged a lot of the property that is the exclusion area for the easement, so the area immediately around the house. They did cut some trees that were outside the exclusion area, so I will have to take a look at the management plan for that property and see if that's a violation or not. The exclusion area boundary is well marked at this point. There is a rope running from the boundary marker along Neal Mill Road out to the marker, the drill hole in the stone wall at the back part of the property. So my suspicion is that, they started logging, and at some point somebody said, hey, wait a minute. We've got this exclusion area boundary here, and we're either close to it or over it. And then when they looked, they realized, oh, we're over it.
They take substantial trees down.
They definitely took substantial trees down within the exclusion area.
Yeah, I saw.
And-
I ran through there the other day and saw that they had in the excavator way back there,
Yeah.
and that I saw that rope going out as well.
Yeah, yep. And I would say that there's at least a few trees that
Substantial.
that were decent. That the stumps are, I don't know, I would guess 10 to 12 inches in diameter. That are outside the exclusion area that had been cut.
How many trees?
I don't know. I didn't count.
Like 50? Or like,
No,
like 3?
more like 10, I would say.
Well,
I mean,
10's
I would say I didn't have a tape measure with me, but I would say if you went from the edge of the exclusion area to the edge of the area that's logged, it's 15 feet.
Oh, wow.
Would you guess that's right, Ian? I mean, it's, it's not 100 feet and it's not 5 feet.
Right,
It's, it's
Substantial area. then.
15 or 20, yeah.
Like a foot over the.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
we're
the street's
talking
closed, they'll take
beyond
that
what
one.
was
It's like
already,
They just mistakenly went over.
there was a
yeah.
clearing around the house before.
Yep.
And they went another 50 feet?
Well, so there's a clearing around the house, and then outside of that, there's an exclusion area where the easement does not apply.
Right,
And essentially, within the exclusion area,
I can
you-
cut
you-
as much.
You can cut as much as you want, yeah. And there was significant cutting in there,
Is it under
but then
10
it also
acres,
goes,
that exclusion area?
what was that?
Is it under 10 acres?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
it doesn't apply, state laws don't apply to it either.
What do you mean by that?
If you're over 10 acres, I believe you have to get a permit to cut in
Oh,
New Hampshire.
If
if
the
you-
cut's bigger than 10. Or if you're-
I don't know, I just know if you're over 10 acres, you fall into that jurisdiction. I don't know what percentage that, if there's a board feed or anything like that. I just know that if you're under 10 acres, you don't have any of those restrictions at all.
yeah.
And they must have a building permit for the work they're doing out there. Or maybe not. For demolition
They had
and
a- they- yeah,
clearing
for the
and
demolition, I think.
Yeah.
they've definitely done earthwork. There was an excavator out
Yeah, I
back.
was gonna say,
They're altering a fair amount of terrain.
yeah,
So it cleared beyond that exclusion area?
yes,
Okay.
yep. Along one side. And it, yeah. It's along the side where the exclusion area is not bounded by a stone wall.
Who do we take that to? Is that code enforcement? Or is that just, is that considered like timber trespass?
Well, I think the first question is, we'd have to look at the management plan and see what it says about tree removal
Oh,
in
'cause
the
they still
easement
own it,
area.
true, yeah, so there could be, they could have reserved the right to cut X amount of trees per
Yeah,
year, yeah.
yep,
True
yeah,
enough.
right.
I think they would have notified, yeah, obviously it was a mistake, so they wouldn't have notified us, but
Right.
there's probably a statement about notification in there. If they had an
Could
intent
be,
to cut.
yeah. So bottom line is, we need to research the management plan, look at that, and then reach out to the owner.
Do we have a management plan for that? Or is it just a deed that says what they can and can't do?
Oh, good point.
It's an easement, right? So, yeah, it must be on the deed, what
Yeah,
the amount
What
of.
rights they sold us
What
and what
rights,
rights they
right? They
reserved.
could have,
Yeah.
a certain amount of cordwood that they can take off or something like that. That's not uncommon, right? To have that on the deed. That's the one I saw
yeah.
that they gave us in the class that I took on it, was they
Cordwood,
used
yeah.
that. It's,
Yeah.
you can take up to 2 cords of wood every year or something like that, you
Yeah.
know?
Boy. It's one of those things that always makes me nervous when it's on the edge of a new owner's yard. And it becomes part of their yard, because you've lost any buffer between the easement area and their occupied area. Now it's all open. I can get the deed for you, if you'd like.
yeah, if you would.
I have the
Yeah.
key to the cabinet, or I can just get it online, one or the other,
Yeah,
circulate it.
that would be fabulous, Jeff. And other than that, everything was in order. No significant changes. Everything seemed good.
How long did it take you? A few hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it 2? I would've said 2, I think. Yeah. There's a beautiful cemetery out there too. Yeah, really cool.
Now,
People get out there.
and that is on, I'm trying to look, I've got the map right here. So that cemetery is on the easement itself?
Yes.
or- Yeah.
Yep.
It's completely, has trees growing up right through the middle of it, right?
Yep.
So that it's actually disturbing the gravestones at this point, I believe, or it was 2
Yes.
years ago when
Yeah.
we were out there.
Yep, yep. And a number of the stones have fallen over.
Yeah.
Some are
don't-
standing up, leaning against the outer wall, so they'll erode less, but they're pretty clearly not where they're supposed to be.
I wouldn't say it's on the easement necessarily. Most likely the easement goes around it. It's typically burial rights in cemeteries. Someone else has rights to it that the person who sold us the
Yeah.
easement probably couldn't transfer to us or didn't. A lot of times the heirs.
It's within the easement property, I think is the way to say it, but I think
Yeah.
that heirs to the cemetery have rights to upkeep and et cetera.
Right,
I
like
don't
we can't
think
go in there
you
and do
can't
what we want.
develop it or anything. Yeah, you
Right.
can't go and
Right.
bulldoze it or something.
Right.
And the
And they have rights of access typically. I think as we looked into before, trying to find heirs or someone to talk to about managing it or
Yeah.
cleaning it
Moving
up
those
or
trees, yeah.
removing
Yeah.
trees, I believe.
Yeah.
Was,
And
And
you
we
weren't
never-
able to find any?
Yeah, we weren't able to find anybody.
Clearly, whoever built that was a master craftsman as far as the wall and the gate.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's very impressive.
It's really cool.
The other thing is that out there is also where the town purchased the Tucker well, right?
Correct.
So that now
Yes.
directly
That abuts.
abuts this property now.
Yes, it does.
And is the town designating anything about that property? Is it just to remain a field, or is there any kind of management around that piece of property?
I do not know.
I've been wondering about that as well.
I mean, I would think they would want to have something down as far as.
It's been hayed or something by
It looks
the
like
Tucker,
it had.
not the Tuckers, but the whoever.
Yeah, in the past, it's been cut. I don't think it was this year. Grass is pretty deep still.
They're happy they don't have to drive through across that river anymore. Maybe. It's a little hairy crossing. Not too bad in a big
It's
truck.
not too
right?
bad, yeah. That'd be my guess anyway.
Walked across that, but never driven.
Okay, so, in keeping with the easement monitoring, I think the next two, I reached out to Phil Brown at New Hampshire Audubon as it relates to monitoring the Audubon Smith Sisters property. And Phil got back to me and said, he would not likely be able to attend. We should, schedule and do our easement monitoring. He would, be happy to have a copy of the monitoring report when it's done. But, he basically said, go get it done. And then so I'd like to schedule a date for that, but before we do that, I want to talk about the New Roots Farm as well. So New Roots Farm, same situation. I reached out to the property owner to see if there was a particular time that was better or worse for them. They said, no, whatever, whenever it works for you is good for us. So with that in mind, I would like to try to schedule those two. So, do people have any preferences or desires?
I'm not looking for actual things scheduled on my calendar, but just when the Saturdays and Sundays are.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing too. I'm looking at,
I should have taken a picture of the calendar before I left the house.
I'd like to go there, but I cannot do next Saturday or Sunday. So
which one?
That would be the 18th and 19th.
No, which property? The Audubon Smith Sisters, which is off of 152?
Yeah, either
Or
one.
New Roots Farm?
Either one I would be interested in doing, because I haven't done either one of those
Okay.
before. But after that, I'm open. I think that, so the next weekend is the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Is that December 3rd?
No, 25th and 26th.
That's Thanksgiving week.
Thanksgiving weekend.
I can't do anything that weekend.
I could do December 3rd as well. I can't do December 2nd, but I could do December 3rd.
I could probably do December 3rd, but I don't know for sure. I haven't done the Smith Sisters in a long time. I would enjoy doing that one.
Yeah? Does that work?
Yeah.
Let's say that then. So let's say Smith Sisters, December 3rd. What time?
I like
I like early.
Eight.
but,
does 8 work for you?
Eight's
Or do
fine,
you mean
yeah.
earlier?
No, that's fine.
Okay, December 3rd, 8 a.m.
And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to check and make sure I can do it. But
Yeah,
that's
why don't you
that's
just,
fair.
why don't you just email confirming?
And, yeah, that is a, I would say a bare minimum of a 3-hour hike. And for what it's worth, I did find, I don't remember if it was 4 or 5 ticks on me after doing the Silverman Schneer property.
After we were,
Yeah, after Silverman Schneer, so
It's been
do a good
hard.
check.
They're
It's
still
been
bad.
terrible.
Yeah,
It's been
they're still
terrible.
Well, I've been in the woods and haven't had too many, and I came back from that easement monitoring visit, and I was, oh, here's one, oh, here's one on the pants, oh, here's one.
You're in the
here's one,
wetlands
here's
down
one.
there though.
Yeah.
You get near wetlands and they get real bad.
Yeah,
Well, we just hadn't had anything approaching cold weather
yeah.
up
yeah.
This
until
morning
just
was
recently.
like the coldest.
Yep.
Yeah,
But-
we need snow on the ground really is what we
Yeah.
need,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay, so how about New Roots Farm? I would actually like to do that the 18th, 19th weekend if we could. Well, is anyone interested in doing it?
I
Other
would be
than me.
interested, but I can't do it that weekend.
Okay.
But you guys go ahead, because I'm gonna be gone those 2 weekends, that one and the next one.
Okay. And Mary Ann, you're interested?
I am, yeah.
What's, are you available the 18th, 19th?
I'm tricky, I'd have to confirm with you.
Sure.
I might have to go to Maryland, but I might not, so
Okay. Is
I'm
this,
pretty interested though in doing that. I noticed that there were signs up that there's a vegetable farm there.
mm-hmm, yeah, yeah,
I could do the 18th and the 19th for
Okay.
New Roots Farm. I'd be interested in doing that one too. I'm familiar. We did the CSA there.
okay,
so,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really really cool. But I do either day. I mean I prefer the Saturday, the 18th, but
Okay, let's say Saturday, November 18th. Time?
8?
8 works for me.
8 works for me. 8 a.m.
Would we meet at the main entrance where like the farmhouses and everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. Great. Okay, so just to confirm, New Roots Farm, November 18th at 8 a.m. And Audubon Smith Sisters, December 3rd at 8 a.m. And I'm not sure I'll be able to make the December 3rd one.
I'll be out of town for that one.
I'll send an email with what I can do tomorrow.
Okay,
if I
sounds
can
great.
do it.
thank you. Does anyone else have anything else on easement monitoring?
I was just gonna say real quick that I was contacted by Steve Walker from the state of New Hampshire about the monitoring of Wigan Farm and most likely Dearborn as well. Presumably, I sent that email reply and I CC'd Drew on it, and I didn't get a reply from Steve, so presumably he did it. I don't know if you heard anything.
was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah, he was gonna do it yesterday. So I don't know if you heard anything from him. So
I have not, no.
presumably he went out there, and if he found anything out of character, he'll let us know.
Yep.
Or out of place. Or
Yep. Okay. Hearing nothing else, I would like to make a motion to go into non-public session to discuss confidential matters related to real estate pursuant to RSA 91-A:3,
Second that?
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Close all the rest of these too.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about those.
Sure.
Hi, yes, did you see we're going into non-public